Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back for your daily crypto news and analysis. And listen, we have been following the hidden PDF files that have been, just hidden away from the general public. Nobody wants to look at them. Nobody wants to read them. We have been talking about this big change happening for so long, and everyone's, sitting there in disbelief saying, no way, it's not happening. Ripple is not tied to it. XRP is not tied to it. Crypto is not tied to it. And it's just comical to me that we still have those naysayers that are like, this is not happening. There's no way that this is possible. I don't believe it. Crypto doesn't even play a role in it. Crypto's still this, scam asset class that is just filled with a whole bunch of hype and speculation, and it's not going to be here in 5-10 years. And it just reminds me of the internet. But what we continue to see from these organizations is much more confidence and also confirmation of our original thought process, which is, yes, we are fundamentally in that major area right before everything changes, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to address it in this video, but first I want to say I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. May 17th, the BIS not only posted this again, but they gave us a little bit of an insight behind it, which is the Finternet. Now, everyone has for the longest time known about this, the Internet of Value. Ripple has told us the Internet of Value is going to be a thing. That's what we're focused on. We want to make money move as fast as information moves today. But the fact that we have the BIS telling us about this and how we are about to see this giant leap forward for the financial system, it's just so interesting to me that we are still having these low IQ discussions about how XRP's trading at this price, or Ripple's not involved in this, or Ripple's trying to replace XRP with a stablecoin. Like, it's just comical, and it just shows you where everyone's thought process really is. But for me, I'm more so focused on the fundamental value behind what these organizations like the BIS are telling us without really telling us everything. I always love the saying, we have to decipher the lizard talk, because it's very hard to kind of get a grasp on what they're trying to say without giving us all the information at once. We know that Ripple is working with the BIS. It's very obvious and it's clear. They already confirmed it back in the summer of 2023. Most people still think that it's just a big nothing collaboration, but it couldn't be anything further from the truth, because it is massive. They're working on cross-border payment initiatives and really kind of reinventing the wheel. That's the financial system as a whole, technically. But here we have the rise of the Finternet, right? And we have financial services must catch up to the advances made in communication since the advent of the internet and smartphones that require taking bold action to build a seamless interconnected network that would give all individuals and businesses full control over their financial lives. Basel, the financial system, is ready for a giant leap forward. It's time to explore the new frontiers. We foresee a time when applying for a mortgage or a small business loan could be as easy as texting a friend or booking a hotel room online. And it's so interesting. They're now talking about this massive transformation openly. They are openly talking about this. To this end, we have drawn on our joint expertise in economics and technology to offer a blueprint for the future financial architecture. What we call the Finternet is a vision of multiple financial ecosystems that connect with one another, much like the internet, in order to give individuals and businesses full control over their financial lives. Now, what is one thing that we are fully focused on within this article? Well, it's this. The new system would be particularly important for emerging and developing economies where large gaps in access to financial services remain despite efforts to bolster inclusion. Many services are simply unavailable or not widely available, particularly to people living in remote areas with low incomes. And even when people are able to access financial products, using them is often expensive and slow. Important breakthroughs in recent years have paved the way for the Finternet. One example is tokenization, whereby tokens representing digital assets can uniquely identify ownership as well as applicable rules. Another is programmable ledgers, the digital platforms that combine the record-keeping functions of traditional databases with governance arrangements required to update them. So, as we really look at this, right, they are telling us that tokenization is one of the biggest breakthroughs here. And this is also why you have a lot of those big players talking about tokenization like BlackRock. But they also give us the term walled gardens down here. And it's funny because, you know, we're now starting to see traditional financial entities looking at public ledger technologies more than private ledgers. And that's something to take notice of, because the most efficient DLTs in the space will become the biggest success stories in the future. I strongly believe this, and I've always told you guys this. But if you guys do really want to learn more about all of this, if you guys do want more access to information like this, I offer a free Discord that you guys can go join. There's going to be a link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. I 100% advise all of you to join that Discord, because we have so many in-depth conversations. There's a lot of insights. There's a lot of TA talk. There's so much information in that free Discord. And we go over information like this. And we talk about what's happening around the future, especially when it comes to XRP. But also over here, we have the BIS Innovation Summit. This is Citibank speaking on the shared ledger thesis. Big shout out to Drew DeVilbiss, or I hope that I'm saying that name correctly, DeVilbiss. You guys can go and check him out. Big shout out to Andrew. We have, he mentioned that currently in the traditional banking system, there is no value being transferred on the actual networks. That is just messaging between banks. He goes on to mention that the value of blockchain is actually in the network. It's a completely new way to transfer value. But he does not believe that the thousands of balance sheets banks hold for their risk will be digitized. The shared ledger thesis could work in this manner. Check this out.
Bank in your bank, and between my bank and the central bank to conduct the settlement. Because your bank will only accept the incremental $100 of liabilities if it receives a matching asset at the central bank. So essentially, in today's paradigm, we're updating three separate balance sheets by messaging. So that's the predominant paradigm that we live in today, is the messaging paradigm. The dichotomy is that when blockchains were invented, it created a different mechanism for value transfer. Because the real difference between blockchains and the traditional financial system is that in the blockchains, the value is in the network. And in today's world, there's no value in the messaging network. There's no value in SWIFT. There's no value in Visa or in MasterCard or in the messaging systems. So when people talk about the potential of tokenization, what we're really investigating, and this is something I hope we can go into in more depth, is can we take aspects of that shared ledger tokenization thesis and use it to upgrade the world of balance sheets? Because do we want to get rid of the thousands of risk-taking balance sheets that power economic growth in the world today? I don't think so.
So as we really look at this, right, that shared ledger thesis is going to be a big deal. Even when we look at the Finternet, as they're outlining over here, everything that the BIS has given us in terms of PDF files and, you know, what we've read around their blueprint is this shared ledger thesis. And that's always been my full focus. When you guys hear me talk about Quant Network, for an example, with Overledger, I've always said, like, this is going to connect everything to the old traditional system. And that's what we're now starting to see. But beyond this, right, we got a full breakdown because all of this is focused on tokenization. Let it be known that tokenization is the full focus here. You don't get anything around the Finternet or the Internet of Value, realistically speaking, without tokenization. And recently, we had Jazzy Cooper, who's the DeFi products at Ripple, do a minute-long video regarding tokenization and what it is, how it works, and why it matters. Check this out real quick.
Tokenization in 1 minute. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that, but let's give it a go. Hi, I'm Jazzy Cooper. This is Crypto in a Minute. So tokenization is really just the digital representation of something in the real world in a digital format. In this case, we're talking about the blockchain. So taking something in the real world, it could be anything. It could be equity, it could be something that you own, it could be a certain privilege like the ability to vote, and taking that entity or aspect that's off-chain and bringing it onto the blockchain, representing it in a digital format. So typically, once you have an understanding of what you would like to represent, you'll use an existing standard such as ERC20 on Ethereum or an IOU like fungible token on the XRP ledger, and you'll actually take that real world thing and represent it on the blockchain. Now, why do you want to do that? What's the purpose of just tokenizing something for the sake of it? There isn't one. So effectively, after you've tokenized it, you want to go ahead and do something with it. You want to send it as a payment, or you want to trade it or collateralize it so you can access a loan and use one of the many advantages of tokenizing real things on the blockchain.
So you guys have it. Now, again, you know, these are the benefits. This is why tokenization is becoming a big deal. Obviously, like as we really look at tokenization, one of the biggest asset classes out there, like global real estate, is at the forefront of tokenization. Why? It's illiquid. It's very hard to transfer things. It's very hard to, you know, sell a house and buy a house. Like it's an entire process, and tokenization streamlines that entire process. But also tokenization allows you to pull, you know, money from real estate in a very easy manner, but it also makes the real estate game liquid. That's the big thing. Liquidity is such a big focus, and it's funny. It actually is funny because if you go back 5 years ago, the discussions around XRP was always around liquidity. When we look at Ripple, the focus is still liquidity, but tokenization is allowing a massive flood of liquidity to touch every single asset class, even real estate that is illiquid. It's a game changer. It's a complete game changer, and it's making the Finternet a reality. Tokenization is the biggest foundation piece to the Internet of Value. But also, we got a huge update from Marcus Infinter, and I've already included him in multiple videos around Ripple and XRP because he's one that is confirming what's happening around the space. And even recently at FT Crypto, back on the 8th, we have our meetings with traditional finance around tokenization have become much more tangible. They now come to Ripple with real use cases teed up. Remember, I already included this in a video recently, but the reason why I'm bringing it back up is because they already have plans to tap into tokenization endeavors. This will continue to be a discussion piece for Ripple because as we look at the XRPL, it's best suited for tokenization endeavors. And the reason why I bring up even real estate is because Zonix, right? Or Zonix. Back in February, Ripple did collaborate with Zonix and even the XRP Ledger to offer this multi-asset tokenization endeavor and bring it to the XRP Ledger. This partnership aims to revolutionize asset tokenization on the XRPL, making it more efficient, accessible, and liquid in the digital asset market. Over here on Zonix's website, generate liquidity, tokenize financial instruments. This is a big deal. And if we scroll down, we can see where assets meet their digital future. And we also see a $1 trillion market potential, 16.1 trillion by 2030 in terms of digital assets tokenized, 1.8 trillion value of tokenized public equities, funds, and bonds by 2030. Now, I will say this, listen, this might make you guys mad. It might not. I don't know how it's going to be perceived, but I will say this. These numbers are nothing. They're absolutely nothing. Because over the course of the next 15 years to 20 years, and I know that that is a very substantial amount of time. I know that a lot of you out there are already trying to click off the video saying, all right, I'm done with this. 15 to 20 years, it's ridiculous. What I'm trying to get across is over the next 15 to 20 years, guys, we're not going to be valuing these things in trillions because think about how much money is moving every single day. Think about how much money is tied to real estate. All of these industries, that will all be on chain. Eventually, that's the whole goal here, is to have all of that money on these specific chains, all on different ledgers. It's happening now. It's going to start slow, but utility is going to be an up-only game once regulations are in place, because there's only going to be more and more money flowing on chain. Like, these are just the valuations by 2030. Imagine by 2040, 2050, 2060. And even for me, yeah, like, that's a long time away. And who knows by that time what I'll be doing, how I'll look. You know, we don't know, right? But one thing that is certain to me is that technology will thrive regardless of time. And this technology is extremely game-changing for all of these major asset classes, including even real estate. And the ecosystem is very substantial already for Zonix. You have Medico on here, you have Ripple on here, you have Amazon on here, you have Hedera on here, you have Deloitte on here, you have Polygon. There's so many big names, and they continue to reinvent the wheel around not only bridging traditional finance and DeFi, but ultimately realizing the value of tokenization. And it's only going to grow more and more. Even over here, we have Zonix revolutionizing asset tokenization. It's with the intersection of blockchain and AI. That's another thing, right? AI is going to streamline processes. It's going to automate processes. And that's where we start to see more and more money trading 24/7, 365, moving constantly all over these networks. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I always say that because we're at the forefront of this, right? We have billions on chain. We have billions on chain through tokenized US treasuries. You might think, oh, I'm late to the party. There's billions on chain already. No. Trillions and then quadrillions will be on chain. I've always said this. And things are already starting. And it's through specific names like Zonix. It's through specific names like Ripple. And even recently, right, we have this big update coming on May 29th. It's an event, RWA tokenization for institutions with Ripple and Zonix. This is going to be a fun one. This is going to be a fun one because it's all centered around the XRPL. And just like we saw over here from the SVP of RippleX, hey, our meetings are talking about tokenization. Their use cases are already teed up with Ripple. And here you have a full tokenization event around institutions working on tokenization endeavors with Ripple and Zonix. And it all leads us back to the first discussion, which is the Finternet, right? This is all around the Finternet. This is the rise of the new financial system. This is the rise of, a financial system that has caught up with the times. That's the problem, right? That's the big issue. We have a antiquated financial system and it needs to catch up. How do we do that? Well, we tap into these new technologies. We embrace tokenization. We embrace what these technologies offer. And I get it, right? We're sitting here and we're like, XRP is underperforming the rest of the market. It has to be bad, right? No, XRP and the XRPL have been around for well over 10 years. These institutions, these enterprises, these major names can trust it. It's tried, it's tested, it's working, it's efficient. They can tap into it and trust that it's going to work. That's a very big thing when we're talking about the entire financial world transforming and being revolutionized by these technologies. The XRP will be a big game changer. HBAR will be a big game changer. QNT will be a big game changer. Algorand, big game changer. Casper, these are projects that will be huge players in this new realm of the financial system. And it's already happening. But I'm not going to try to sit here and persuade people. You have to do your own research. You have to study these things. You have to know these things. It's not all about price action. Obviously, yes, in the short term, we are here to make money, and we will. In the long term, we are here to make a ton of money, and we will off of the regulation, the standardization, and the adoption of these utility projects. And that's when utilization will skyrocket. And I strongly believe that it's the number one reason why I'm sitting here. It's the number one reason why I'm talking about these projects. It's the number one reason why I'm invested into these projects. And I have zero problem with these projects underperforming in the short term, because I do know in the long term, in 10, 20 years, right? Because that's the long term in traditional finance. We're talking about XRP being a decade old already. It's like 12 years old, right? We have about roughly 8 more years for it to be past that long-term view. I don't think that we have to wait that long. I think that within a year, things are going to change rapidly. In another 2, things are going to look completely different around the space. We are in the biggest revolution of our lifetime technologically. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.